I'm sorry, Andrew Weissman, but if I recall correctly, in 2018, you were one of the people who helped write the Mueller report, and you all botched the hell out of that.
And never in my wildest dreams would I have thought we would be here. I thought we were better as a country.
Oh, yeah.
Like all these sites that have been around for creating videos and all that, like text stock videos, they're done.
That's why Canva was one of the first to get into doing AI.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that team, reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. As always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live on November 23rd, just a little over a month till those who celebrate it, Christmas hits. So has anyone started their shopping yet? And it's coming up in America, Thanksgiving, for those who celebrate it, Thanksgiving next Thursday. A colleague of mine called it Thanksstealing. That's what they called it, Thanksgiving. So that's a whole other conversation. But I want to say thank you to everyone who is here. And if you don't know, then you will gonna know that Saturday nights is not, well, there's an old song by Elton John called Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. We ain't fighting, but we're dropping knowledge bombs with Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Lala Key. What is going on, ladies?
We trying to get through this madness is what we trying to do. We can't keep up.
You can't.
It has been, I sent my mother, I said this last week too, and I sent my mother this meme, but it has only been, 3 weeks? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And it feels like it has been an entire year. And this is the kind of chaos that we're going to be dealing with for the next 4 years. And it's truly sad that we literally have a reality show president season 2.
I'm so depressed. I really
let's get off topic for just a minute. So before we went live, last week we talked all about Blue Sky.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I would get on Blue Sky before the next conversation. Well, I am on Blue Sky. Don't know what I'm doing on it yet, but I've registered an account on Blue Sky, and I've been hearing more and more about it over the past week. Heard an interview done by NPR with the CEO of Blue Sky, and also heard another gentleman who's very good in regards to helping people with YouTube saying, yes, it's a good platform, much safer, less toxic. Aisha, you've had some good interactions so far on Blue Sky, correct?
Yes, I have. I think I'm up to about 600 followers now on Blue Sky.
Yeah, you got a whole pot. I'm going, how long is this thing? Just going, oh my gosh.
I've only been out there for 2 weeks?
Yeah, I got 17. You see how popular she is.
I got few. I got less than that. So
I got 670. So okay. I've been on it for about 2 weeks, but I'm on some lists, some people's lists. So, there are lists that you can, for people you follow, that they'll put a list and you can subscribe to the list and it'll follow all the people on the list. And then those people will end up following you back. And people are more inclined to follow you back on Blue Sky than they are on Twitter. If you follow them, I'm part of Black Book Sky. So a lot of Black authors follow me. Also part of Prince Forever Sky, and those kinds of niche groups.
I don't know how to become part of these groups. Like it's just for me, it's a little
overwhelming.
You do a hashtag add to whatever sky it is. So like I do hashtag add to Black Sky, and then they put you on the list and people start following you.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to see if YouTube can give me a crash course. I'll look and see if there's a good YouTube video, a crash course on Blue Sky, because I've logged. I don't know what to do. Like, sure, I could post.
I don't see you, Dr. Vibe. What's your name? Is that Dr. Vibe, right?
Dr. Vibe, yeah.
You followed me.
It's not coming up.
Dr. Vibe, yeah. It's just simply Dr. Vibe, and yeah. So I've signed up and go, okay, what's next? I'm trying to understand how to, at least get in the rear view mirror of Aisha, because I'm going to go,
What you
she's
can
got,
do is start looking up, like in the search thing, search for podcasters and network with other podcasters.
okay.
Oh, she gave us homework. We got work to do, Dr. Vibe.
What I say, like,
I figured that, I used some of my skills from previous jobs where I was communications manager and growing their social media platforms and their followers. And I just do that. I spend time on it, and I read other people's posts. I
engage. You engage.
Yeah, and I engage. Engagement
That's the key.
is the key to growing your following on Blue Sky. And also too, I've been able to share my articles. I have this article that's on Medium right now, saying that it's basically after the 2024 election, Black women are saying, get somebody else to do it.
Yep, that's a good article.
And so that article is gaining some traction.
Okay.
It's gained me some followers. Yeah.
Okay. No,
Okay.
I'm trying to log into my account right now. It's not even doing that. So I don't know what's going on, but yeah, so what I'd like, I'm going to want to start to post some of our replays. It's saying whatever, forgot whatever, like email address. So, okay, what else has been going on? Well, we're going to get to the politics in just a moment. What is life like outside of politics?
Christmas. I'm on a Christmas movie journey, which I have never done before Thanksgiving. But this year I just needed Christmas early, and I broke my tradition. So every day I have been posting a review of a movie, and I'm watching movies that I don't normally watch. I'm not watching the traditional ones yet, because I watch those with my husband, but I've been watching the new things like Hallmark and OWN and Netflix, and been doing a review every day.
Okay. Love that. That's fantastic. That is really cool.
That's
and
nice.
Yeah,
I watched Cross on Amazon Prime. I love Aldous Hodge. He's a great actor. It was so good that my daughter and I binged all 8 episodes yesterday.
Okay.
That's on my list. I think we're gonna watch that.
Okay. It was well written, well acted, well cast. I mean, it had a different director for each episode. It's only 8 episodes long, and it was just excellent. I didn't like the Tyler Perry versions. This is nothing like that.
Oh wow.
This has that kind of Shaft element to it, but it's got a little quirkiness to it, but it's also, it takes place in DC, so it's you get so lost in it. Their Blackness is not the subject of the drama. It comes up as it would of Black people just living, but because they're in DC, they do have interactions with white people, of course, but just being in DC, it's just how it's a true representation of how we are when we're just, amongst ourselves and, on a day-to-day basis. Like, I think it does that thing where, for some reason, white people seem to think that all we do is we get together and sit and talk about race all the time, like even just when we're hanging out with friends or whatever. And that drama just shows you that there's so much more to us. And I love it. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Okay. Well, before we do some things here, we've got number 1 fan here is in the house. You know what? I forgot to do something. I keep on forgetting to do that. Okay, that's better. All right. So she's in the house. What's up, Jen? Good to see you. Check out Regina. Hey, back from Cambodia. And excited to catch up. How is everybody in the room? There is a Prince Sky. Leave a link, please. She goes. Okay. She also says, I'm glad to see the quote, I'm eating popcorn for the next 4 years, unquote, for Black women. It's about time others pull their weight. Life is good. Oh, Regina says, amazing. We biked across. Wow, you biked across Cambodia? That is massive. That is absolutely
cool.
massive. And Aisha says, hashtag Prince forever.
That's the hashtag. Just say,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
And yeah, start following folks. And one of my favorites is there, and that's God, what is his name? He was on Twitter in Prince History. He was on Twitter, and he's on Blue Sky now.
Okay. All right.
And he was when I was having a conversation with before I left Twitter, saying that he was really worried about his friends here in the U.S. because I don't believe he's in the U.S. and he's worried about his friends here after this election.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lala, what I'm multi-purposing here. What is your handle on Blue Sky?
Living the Lala life.
Okay, that makes sense. I should know better. There we go.
Did you pray?
There we go.
Okay. Good.
And
Then
by
I'll-
the way, where is that picture taken with you like this, looking like I'm so cool?
Florida, trying to be cool down in that old crazy state.
Okay. Regina says, thanks. We did not do the tourist route. Good for you with Cambodia. Good for you. All right. So we're going to take a quick break. We only have one conversation topic tonight, but you know that the ladies are going to go all in on this. So we'll be back in just a moment, and hold tight because it's going to be another party and a patio tonight. Here we go.
Wow. What an awesome discussion and interview with Dr. Vibe. You can see why he's so successful, has so many awards, has so many accolades. Dr. Vibe listens so well to the person he's interviewing, and he loves bringing out their story to share with his audience. My name is Ramon Ray, founder of smarthustle.com, and I just had a great experience sharing with Dr. Vibe and his audience about my journey. And I want to say a big thanks to Dr. Vibe, big thanks to your community, Dr. Vibe, because clearly you love what you do, and you're a shining beacon for us all to focus on entrepreneurship, be better fathers, grow our families, and live and have great businesses. So thank you so much. I can't wait to work with you again. You're an amazing, amazing interviewer and first-class professional. Thank you so much.
All right. Ramon Ray, smart hustle guy. Good stuff. Good stuff. So some things we want to make sure we get out of the way first in a good way. Girlfriends chat with Aisha, Lala, and Jill Jones at Patreon. There is the link. Then you have Primetime Saturday store. Anything new in the store yet?
No, but I'm going to put some new things up for the holidays.
Okay, good. And then
I will definitely have those up and ready for Black Friday.
Wonderful. And Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala on the Discord group. Email me if you want to be part of it. I was putting in a lot of articles this week. I hope people didn't say, "Oh my gosh, Dr. Vibe, you're overwhelming us." No, I just put them in. As always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Thank you, everyone who's doing that. Finally crossed 1,600 subscribers. Hello, that is fantastic. But if you haven't subscribed yet and you're up to it, please subscribe. Also follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And to advertise your business, product, and service on any of the platforms that I'm on, please feel free to email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. All right. One conversation topic tonight, but I know you ladies got lots to say.
Yeah.
The conversation topic tonight is it's not about the people 45 is appointing. It's the policies that will affect Black people. It's all yours, ladies.
Well, to start, these appointees, it would be a comedy of errors, except none of it's funny, right? Not one bit of it is funny. And you know, the appointments have been coming rapid fire. We talked about some of the appointments last week. I have a new take on this former Matt Gaetz appointment. Now, if anyone doesn't know, Matt Gaetz withdrew himself from that because they really were they were on the precipice of releasing this report, right? But I realized that his appointment served two purposes. The first was to be a reason for him to resign from the House so that that report would not have to come out. Then the nomination was also a reason for Trump to be able to get his true pick for Attorney General through with no consideration, because she would be, in the eyes of Republicans like Lindsey Graham and others, qualified for the job. So anything else didn't matter, because we're talking about Pam Bondi, who was nominated within hours of Matt Gaetz withdrawing, right?
Lined up quick.
Too quick, saying that, she was she was former Attorney General for Florida. Dr. Vibe shared with us before we even came on air that she had run, or was it Lala, or she had run Ron DeSantis's campaign.
Mm-hmm.
But also, too, not only did he put her there, her brother has a position also going in. But Pam Bondi is she's an election denier.
Yes.
And one of the things that he wants her to do, to revisit, is the 2022 cases. I'm sorry, the 2020 cases that he lost. We are going back.
So she can throw them out, and then he also can prosecute or twist people's arms to put them in jail.
But here's the other part.
His whole agenda.
Yeah. And here's the real thing that's scary for us as Black people, particularly Black people who protested during the summer of 2020.
Yes.
And they have a target on Portland specifically, because that's the only place that they can sit here and say, oh my God, there were riots. They try to make people think there were riots all over the country when there really weren't.
Right.
These were things that, and oftentimes when you look, they were incited by police. So one of the first things that they're looking at making, and they say this, if you go to the America First website, America First are the policies. Project 2025 is how they implement the policies. So on there, they talk about how in Portland, with regard to police, here's what it is say. The anti-police sentiment is really criminal and a threat to public safety. Okay. So basically, if you protest, they're on the precipice of saying that protesting against the police is a criminal act.
Yes.
And it's a threat to public safety. And which means, guess what this means? If soever a group of Black people, a group of Latino, a group of people, period, want to protest in DC on the Capitol grounds, like the Women's March is planning to do, the white women are trying to do with the Women's March of 2025, that would be viewed as criminal. They want to call it anti-American, but that would be viewed as also a threat to public safety, which gives carte blanche for the police to come in. And not only police, he wants to use the military on protesters. We heard this throughout the campaign, but guess what? They wrote it. It's true. And the Portland thing is funny because I looked at there's this one article about the whole Portland thing and the threat. And mind you, this article was written about a week ago. This wasn't an article that they wrote in 2020 or something that they wrote, even just last year or over the summer. They just wrote this a week ago. So it tells me that this is something that's on their mind.
Yes.
They say that 1,000 people were arrested in Portland over the summer. Now, according to DOJ, it was just 100 people arrested in Portland. And on average, 285 people arrested in 49 cities across the country. Okay. So they also say that, we're justifying this because Portland spent $6.9 million in overtime just, for the summer of 2020. Well, guess what? That's a reduction, because what they don't tell you is that in 2019, they did an audit and found that they had been spending, just a year before, they had been spending $15.7 million in overtime. The problem wasn't the protest. The problem is that they have police officers who are abusing overtime. That is the problem. And then they also refer to protesters as just the way that they talk about people protesting, like it's a dirty thing. And then they refer to the prosecutors as rogue prosecutors. But the fact that they refer to protesters, social justice protesters, racial justice protesters as criminals, the January 6 people
Thank you.
actually killed people.
Yes.
But they called them hostages. They called them patriots. We saw what they did. The stuff in Portland, it made national news here and there, but we didn't sit on TV for 4 hours and watch from start to finish them being riled up and then tearing down and then the aftermath. We saw that happen. So that's one of the things that for me is, the way they talked about weaponizing the Justice Department. It's literally what they are going to do. And they have Black people as the primary target for these things.
Your turn, Lala.
I have to say ditto to Aisha on everything. She does her deep research and she's right about everything. But here's what is bothers me to the core. She mentioned January 6th, and all of these January 6th terrorists who have now also been sentenced and things of that, he's going to be able to let them go. To him, they are heroes. They are doing what he wanted them to do. So that now they will be rewarded. This is no different than when he came out and said, there are good people on both sides. That usually means white is right. So anything outside of that construction of this whole thing, which we've always told you from the beginning, we are always going to be on the side of wrong with this administration. And what bothers me the most is people keep saying, well, we only have 4 more years with him. And I'm thinking to myself, didn't he tell y'all that he's going to make sure that we don't have to vote next time around? Stop leaning on old principles when they're already playing master chess in our universe. Anytime that they're going to be able to keep us down, they're going to. They've already said that. So what you need to do is to prepare. So what you're seeing and happening with these appointments, when none of them have any kind of experience in what they're doing, they're going to be rewarded for what he wants done. He's going to be able to whisper in their ear and say, I want this done. Yes, sir, going to do it. So that means anything outside of the construction of being white, you're in danger.
Has anyone ever seen the movie She-Devil with Roseanne Barr?
Yes.
So what Lala is saying is actually right. He might not be president again, but the damage will be done because he plans on firing anyone who had anything to do with the special counsel's office, even if they weren't selected, if they were just regular attorneys that worked in that office, he plans on hiring them. A lot of people at DOJ are very scared. So in that movie, Roseanne Barr, ironically, her husband cheats on her and leaves her for a younger woman. And so she sets on destroying his life. And what she does is she creates a employment agency for women and plants all these women in jobs in areas where she'll need favors to destroy her ex-husband's life. That is literally what he's going to do. So he's going to plant loyalists in positions that otherwise are nonpartisan jobs. So even if he's not there, they are still there to carry the banner of America first, to do the work of that group of people. And it's like kind of like throwing a cog in the works. I mean, a wrench in the cog of otherwise functioning government, so that he might not be there, but we're going to stop any kind of progress. These will be there. You might have a Democratic president next with their cabinet, but the civil servants will have been employed.
Everything will be torn down. Do you know how many years it's going to take to rebuild the damage that he is doing?
Yeah.
So this is not like you just get a new president and you start all over. Hey, let's do it. No, you have dismantled things that have been put into place forever. And so, not to say that some things don't need to be changed, but let's face it, not like this.
Yeah.
All right. No, just want to say Regina says 1,265 on January 6th arrested versus 285 nationwide.
On average, 285 out of 49 different cities, right? It is ridiculous. You're right. It is so ridiculous, but it gets more ridiculous because the black job, there was a black job. The black job went, of course, to a former NFL player who was also a former member of the Texas state legislature for 2 terms. And it is a black man who heads up, as you would expect, housing and urban development. Because why?
No, I'm mad about that.
Trump thinks all black people live in the projects. The housing offices in states and cities controls the housing project. So he thinks that urban development controls all the housing projects. And I bet you if you asked him that's exactly how he would explain it, right?
Exactly.
So it goes to this black man. His name's Scott Turner. And, because of course it go to a black person. But he was the intern for Duncan Hunter. And if you don't remember, Duncan Hunter is the former congressman from California who left, I think, in like 2019 because it was found that he used campaign funds to cheat on his wife with like 5 different women. Two of them being staffers of his and a congressional aide and some lobbyists and things like that. So yeah, but Scott Turner, he's also chair for the Center of Educational Opportunity at America First.
Gee.
Which begs to differ. Like, why would he not put someone who's chair for the Center of Education in charge of the Department of Education instead of Linda McMahon, who used to own WWE, who lost 3 elections in the state of Connecticut? We don't like her here. 3 elections here, but also lied and said that she had a teaching degree. And then when someone called her on, it said, "Oh, I thought I had a teaching degree," because she did substitute teaching. At the time that she would have done substitute teaching in Connecticut, you did not need to have a degree.
That's because I'm a substitute teacher. I thought I had.
Because, and I know,
God help Lala tonight.
In Connecticut when I was still an undergrad. I know this. So here's the funny thing, right?
Aisha, you can't be telling the truth on that about McMahon. You can't be saying you said that.
Yeah.
Yes. They said this on our local news. Okay. And so then I have this question. Anyone who went to college, how do you not know what you majored in and got your degree in? I do not know one person who has a college degree who would ever say that, "Oh yeah, I got a teaching degree. Oh, I thought I had one because I substitute taught." But she called her substitute teaching she was a student teacher. But here's the thing, in Connecticut, to be a student teacher, you have to be on the education track, right? An education track. So I
can't get by that one because I'm a student teacher.
And then it went to I wanted to be an educator. Okay, so how do you get from want to having a degree? Because that was, let me tell you something. Connecticut is very strict when it comes to its licensure. It was so easy for someone to check to see if she had ever had a teaching license. It's also easy to check to see if she had the degree, but beyond that, you have the, so you got the Black Jobs Guide, you got Linda McMahon in education. She's never run anything having to do with education ever. Do you know who Biden put in charge of education? And it's funny. The last two people who are in charge of education would have come from Connecticut, right? So the one that Biden has, he used to be superintendent of a district in the state.
We need Lala here. Come on, Lala. Come on in. I don't want you to be pouting all show.
I'm because it's so ridiculous. I feel like we're in a dream. You're talking about a woman who was in WWE. She knows nothing about education.
And she got there because of her husband, okay?
Exactly. And so once again, these minions are being put in place to do the bidding. The level of danger in this. Now they're saying that, of course, he wants to dismantle, and he will dismantle the Department of Education, and that this must be confirmed. I'm sorry, I don't believe in any confirmations anymore right now. Mm-hmm. Because he has too many ways to get around them. And as much as we wanted to in the past say that we're going to see justice against this man, we're not. We actually now have seen a different level. It's people who have once spoke against him are now all up under him. Mitch McConnell, for one. Okay, so my question is, what did Mitch McConnell do to get back in his graces? Are we going to see Daniel Cameron again? Because that was his chess move. Are we going to see that? Where will he be appointed? And now it feels like the Oprah show where she was like, and you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car.
You get a job. You get a job.
You get a job. You get a job. In the meantime, our communities, when we already know that we are so far behind on education, mm-hmm. No one even cares about our schools, it seems. And with the fact that they're going to be changing the books where the history doesn't even reflect true history, that our communities now need to come together and make sure that we create these environments for our children where we teach them the right thing. And I do mean simply as ABC 1, 2, 3, because they don't want, what was the thing that they used against us during slavery? We were not allowed to read. We were not allowed to write. So if you think that they're not trying to go back to that, when we already are kind of like that, how many kids are getting passed through already with not knowing their level of education or even know how to read? And we hear cases of people graduating and they don't know how to read. Then you are sadly mistaken if you don't think that's the time that they want us to go back to. So once again, I agree with everything that Aisha says, and you're going to hear me say that all night long, but I need you to understand the dangers. So therefore, what do you do in your communities? Then you need to make sure that you take care of our babies. Yeah. If that means we have to go back to Black Panther status, then we have to go back to Black Panther status.
And we're going to have to, because I want to stay on this education piece for a minute, because Linda McMahon is in that position, is there to do the thing that Lala just said. If they can't do away with the Department of Education completely, she's there to dismantle it. And one of the things that she's going to get rid of first is the free or reduced breakfast and lunch programs. Let me tell you, 60% of public school students, 60%, the majority, get free or reduced lunch.
And not all Black.
And they ain't all Black. Because you go to Appalachia, okay?
Ask me how I know.
West Virginia, okay? The majority of those kids are white kids. But she's going to do away with that. And here's the hypocrisy of it all. She, at one point in time, had been on food stamps when she was married. Okay, I found that in her bio. So talk about the pot calling the kettle black. or in this part, the pot calling the kettle a racist, this woman is going to take away something that helps children with their education that she had access to and that she took advantage of.
It served her purpose, but it's
Exactly.
what's good for me is good for me, but it's not for you.
And what they have found is that kids who get free and reduced breakfast or lunch, and now mind you, I come from a city that everybody, regardless of your status, because it's a Title I district, everybody gets free or reduced lunch. I'm not free or reduced. Everybody gets free lunch. Everybody. That's just it. Period. And one of the good things about that, it takes away the stigma. Everybody's on equal footing. But the benefit is that sometimes kids, even kids whose parents have money, forget to eat breakfast, rushing out the door. They get breakfast. So their minds, they're not worried about the stomach being hungry. Okay, being hungry. They can focus. Lunch, same thing. They can focus. Yeah. With what you find is that some of these kids, these are the only meals that they get.
And that's all.
And then what's worse, if you didn't remember the last time, he cut those summer meals to kids who are getting free and reduced lunch during the school year.
That's right.
And when school's out, they don't get anything unless those programs are available. So he's willing to cut that. But beyond that, the other thing that they are going to do with education is what Lala said. We are going to start to see a rewriting of textbooks. We are going to start to see a federal requirement for some books. We are going to see that. But here's the thing.
Who do you think is going to write those books? Because he's already written the Bible, right?
Well, they already have them. Remember, they did this deal already. The books that they did in Georgia and in Florida, those are the ones that they're going to lean to. But here's the thing for me that I got to thinking about this. The Department of Education, the majority of what they oversee isn't K through 12. It's higher ed.
Yeah.
Just this week, they tried to put forth a bill to dismantle DEI and the EEOC, and saying that it was oppressive to white people. Okay? I thought about this because HBCUs fall under the purview of higher ed, obviously, and fall under Department of Education. This means that if they're talking about DEI and things like that, they're going to get rid of the Pell Grants. The majority of scholarship recipients at HBCUs get a Pell Grant. They're going to reduce those or get rid of them altogether. But the other thing that really frightened me was seeing what Ron DeSantis did this week. Ron DeSantis appointed someone to the Board of Trustees of Florida A&M University. And I was like, how could he do that? But he could, because FAMU is a public university. A majority of these HBCUs are land-grant institutions, which means that their board of trustees are appointed by the governor. Land-grant institutions makes a lot of them state schools, and those that are state schools the board of trustees will be appointed by the governor. Donald Trump might take that over and appoint his people over HBCUs, which would be a detriment. Because remember, HBCUs are one of the only places where people can freely teach Black history without government overreach. But beyond that part too, the other thing about this EEOC thing, and Jasmine Crockett went in. The other thing about the EEOC and the DEI thing for me is they're going to say that the admission of majority Black students is against the law. They are going to try and integrate the HBCUs. And not to say that they're not integrated, because guess what? Anyone can apply and get accepted. That's how they function. They don't discriminate.
But it's just everybody just assumes that.
Right. But they are going to, on the basis of this, we have to give reverse racism and all this stuff. And that's another conversation. But they're going to start making those monies and those scholarship funds, those federal funds, more available to white students who couldn't get into a regular college to go to HBCUs. And you're going to start seeing white students who basically had a 1.5 GPA in high school at HBCUs.
Okay.
With Black students who have, 3.5s and 4.0 GPAs.
All right. Just want to jump in a minute. Hello, Minnie on Cam. Welcome. She also says, going to school hungry, they're not able to learn and retain information.
Right.
Regina says, Cardona was okay, but most of the secretaries of education in U.S. history, the position started with the Carter administration, do not have experience in education, Aisha. Arne Duncan was a hot mess. She also says, also, USDA is in charge, of school lunches. The Department of Ed at the state level manages the money. She also says, I was a public school teacher, so I know this stuff pretty well. So we did mention the name Jasmine Crockett, and I just want to play a little short video from her this week talking about the whole situation about DEI. So we're going to put it up here right now. And can everyone see? All right, let's play this video of Jasmine going in.
You consistently said over and over the word oppression, and every time that you said it, it was almost as if I was hearing nails on a chalkboard, because it seems like you don't understand the definition of oppression. And I'd ask you to just refer to Google to help you out. Oppression is the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. That is the definition of oppression. And so as I sit here as a Black woman who practiced civil rights, let me tell you, the reason that my colleagues wanted to make sure you understood the same Black history that your side of the aisle wants to delete out of classrooms is because you can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. You tell me which white men were dragged out of their homes. You tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told that you are going to go and work.
LGBTQ.
All right, Jasmine Crockett, laying it down.
I'm a little concerned for her. I really and truly believe in everything that she's doing. She's one of the few Democrats, if you ask me, who are doing her job right. But because of that, this is also going to make her a target. And we already know what's coming.
Right. And to Regina's point, yeah, I do. I actually know where that comes from because I used to do that for a public school, do all that funding and stuff for a public school here. But the woman that's in charge of the USDA also works for America First. And she and Linda are like that. Yeah, that's why I'm able to say all it'll take is for Trump to call, because Trump doesn't know that it comes through USDA. He thinks it goes through Department of Education. So he's going to call Linda, and Linda's going to call, what's her name? Rollins, I think her name is. I can't remember her name, but what is it? I think it's Rollins, and she's the one that he appointed to the U.S. Department of the USDA, and she's going to pull that funding. But this is the part for me that is just the horrible part of it. Betsy DeVos didn't have any experience in education either, and we saw what she undid, and we saw what she did. It was a disaster. And I think that, to your point, they might not have had other educational experience, but they had some kind of management experience. Okay. Linda McMahon has only managed a fake wrestling enterprise. They weren't even real wrestlers. Okay. They weren't even really wrestling. So a fake wrestling enterprise is not a fake education system. This woman scares me. And we know she's scary because my state rejected her twice. And she tried her third time, then pulled out. I don't think that they're going to be able to stop her, because also too, remember this, she's got more money than Trump. And this is something that I think that we really have to focus on all these appointments. Every last person that he's appointing is either a millionaire or a billionaire. We're becoming that government that Karl Marx talks about, where you have the proletariat class and the bourgeoisie. We're going to be run by the bourgeoisie. I mean, as it is, we know that the wealthy tend to float to the top and have more influence, but these are people that are literally going to be in positions of power. The only requirement to get a position in a Trump cabinet is that you have money, and more money than him, preferably.
Money and loyalty.
Loyalty, right? Because he thinks it makes him look good. And we should be very concerned too about this. We talked briefly about this new office of Department of Government and Efficiency that Apartheid Andy and Vivek are going to run, right? It really does scare me because, and the reason I call him Apartheid Andy, I have a point. Elon Musk was raised in and grew up through apartheid in South Africa. He learned how to do it. I think his goal is the same here. Government efficiency, that role, in reading more about it, he basically gets to kind of say every government agency that Trump is putting all these people over with, he gets to say if their budget is too high or too low. He gets to determine the budget for education. He gets to determine what spending is too much for Department of Defense, for Homeland Security. Why him of all people, right? Because
need Lala to jump in.
Yeah,
I'm getting ready to say there's also another element to that. I think you guys need to understand, with all of this SpaceX stuff that he's doing now, all of a sudden they're looking at actually our Kennedy Space Center budgets and things of that nature. Now, why do you think that is?
That's gone. It's all going to, all that money's going to go to SpaceX.
Exactly. But no one is talking about that.
Yeah.
So it needs to be brought to your attention that what billionaires do is they tell you what they want. Musk has said over and over that he wants to be the first trillionaire. If you don't think he's going to reach that before 2025, I got a bridge to sell you, because he's already lining up things to line his pocket. And what bothers me the most is I actually had a conversation with a friend who I've actually been avoiding speaking to. And the way she let it roll off her tongue, how she truly believes that Musk and what's his name, Shamadan, whatever his name is going to make things right. They're going to make sure that our government does not overspend, scared the hell out of me. She truly believes this in her heart. And these people are lining their own pockets, and they're here to leave you high and dry while they reach their billion, trillion, gazillion statuses that they want. When you start seeing things like the Kennedy Space Center being defunded, don't be surprised.
Yeah,
because that's happening as we speak right now. Now, Musk has been putting his nose into other countries, not only Portugal, and I know Portugal. He purchased a home in the Algarve over here with some type of intention, so we better be watching him very closely. And also, the Italian Parliament president came out and said, you keep your business to yourself. Don't come over here with your mess. And he said, Musk, don't you dare even think about being involved in our elections. If you don't think these countries know that this man is going to have way more power, that he thinks now that he can get into every political arena. He thinks he has that power. This is very dangerous. And he's already telling people on his platform that that Biden is trying to load the judiciary department with judges. And the way he says it is the way is of hatred. Of course, that's the way he does. He's putting all these crooked people in. Okay. So once again, they're going to continue this talk the way that they talk to their minions who truly believe and don't even research, but they're going to, excuse me, this is the phrase now, and find out. because you don't mean them, and they will throw you in the water. So I just want y'all to be very cautious and understand they are not there to cut any budget. They are there to line their pockets and Trump's.
Yeah.
Okay, let me jump in. I want to jump in with some comments. Regina says, I don't think ending free lunches is a good campaign strategy. Both DeVos and Duncan were pro charter schools. She also says, if they close down free lunches, they can kiss the midterms goodbye. Seriously, poor rural areas are 100% free lunch too. Regina, also, you're good tonight, Regina. Good stuff. They are definitely going to try to get everything DEI related. Bank wipes. That is backfire on their voters too. At this point, I predict the 2026 midterms turn Congress deep blue.
And you know, Regina, I would agree, except that everybody knew. They said that they were going to get rid of anything DEI. They started trying to, right? Because all those companies started pulling back and withdrawing. If you notice, right before the election, all those companies got rid of all their DEI programs, or took the funding away, or closed down a whole bunch of offices. You'd think it would have backfired in this election, but for some reason, Americans said we want more of that, because that's why they're trying to pass this bill.
I think. Well, some people will say no, not true. They're more concerned about their pocketbooks than DEI.
I disagree, and I go back to the thing that Lyndon B. Johnson said. Let me pull this quote for you, because Lyndon B. Johnson said this: if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you. The bottom line is that these people have been told time and time and time again what Trump is going to do. They know well their taxes did not go down under Trump. They know this, but they still voted for him, and they say it's the cost of eggs. And I think I actually wrote this article on Medium last week. It wasn't the cost of eggs. It wasn't their pocketbook issues. Their pocketbook issues were a red herring for racism, because saying the cost of eggs sounds better than saying, I just don't want those colored people to have a period. That's what it is. Because even if you engage in conversation with these people and you say, well, okay, well, the cost of eggs went down 22% in the last 4 years.
Okay.
But
Well,
go ahead, Lala.
Because they continue to talk about these prices of eggs and things of that nature, when places like Kroger, grocery stores, and other places have been caught and also came out and said they raised prices on purpose, knowing that, hey, we know that this is going to be fine. We're going to do that. And people had no idea that they were doing this behind the scenes. And now that we know it, because the report has come out, they still think that Trump is the one who's going to be lowering these prices, when actuality, that's not the truth. In actuality, Trump may still allow them to continue the shenanigans that they were doing in the first place. So your eggs ain't coming down, baby.
He can't set a price point. That the prices are set by the corporations and the companies in the industry. The president has not one thing to do with that. And that goes back to the miseducation. Forget the miseducation of the Negro, right? Or even the miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It's the miseducation of American citizens. Because for some reason, people still think that the president can do X, Y, and Z, and he cannot do a thing. He can't do anything when it comes to that.
That's the same reason that they kept trying to say that that Kamala, well, what has she done in 4 years? Well, she did her role as vice president. Do you not understand what that means? So once again, we're going back to the basics. We're going back to the basics of, do you understand our government? Do you understand civics? Do you understand what our three-ring circus is supposed to look like? Because about 95%, this is my own percentage, I didn't look it up, but I feel this way. 95% of America does not understand how our government works. And so therefore they're going to fall for anything.
Well, I think that's a wrap. I think that's a wrap today. Lala's face is telling me it's time to wrap. Yes, it's time to wrap. All right. So, as always, fam, we like to say thank you for hanging out with, but more importantly, thank you for the two ladies for spending the most valuable thing they have, their time with us. And as usual, we'd like them to share their contact information. So, Lala's up first.
Yes, I am. And it's easy to find me at bit.ly/Laura Key Info. I have really been working hard, especially since the election, on trying to get some information for you to help educate yourself. Not only do I have free resources there on that site, I also have a video that I just published 2 days ago on YouTube, and my name is Realty Goddess, that talks about things that you need to think about if you're thinking of moving abroad. It's going to get your wheels moving to see if this is something that you are ready to tackle. Don't get stuck. Get active.
100% love it. Next up, there she is, Aisha K.
You can follow me on Blue Sky. You can follow me on Instagram, and on my Medium. I've been putting out pretty much an article or two a week. This last week I talked about Black women getting somebody else to do it. I do have this article I mentioned to Dr. Vibe and Lala about bro culture that I'm sitting on. I'm not sure if I'm going to publish that or another piece, but one piece I am going to publish is about Alanis Morissette's album and Mary J. Blige's album, both of which turned 30, and both being two sides of a black and white coin.
Well, it's actually very interesting because I had a chance to meet Alanis Morissette when she was just starting out. And shy, kept her head down, wouldn't even look at you straight in the face. So that is going to be an interesting article. All right, fantastic. All right, family. And if you want to get in touch with website, the drvibeshow.com, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram at The Dr. Vibe Show, X/Twitter. I don't know how much longer. I forgot to do a little third part. I couldn't fit everything on, so I've got to find a way of managing it around. X/Twitter at drvibeshow.com. Email address dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. As always, you can watch replays of Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala at the Dr. Vibe Show, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. The Dr. Vibe Show website, the drvibeshow.com. And also follow these ladies. Like Lala broadcasts this on her page, so why not follow her? And we're going to be doing some interesting stuff coming up in the next few weeks where Aisha and Lala are going to do a little spotlight on some of the stuff they're doing. So I am really excited by that. And you're saying, okay, what are you doing, Dr. Vibe? Well, right now, because I do this all on my own, I'm just sharing their contact information on all or most of the platforms that you can watch this live or on the replay. So that's what I'm doing. So let's finish up. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And as always, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And remember to give yourselves grace. And we will see you on the digital streets. But check us out on Blue Sky too. Be well and keep the faith.